Okay, so we're live.
Yes, a very good evening, everyone. My name is Martin,
And my name is Levi.
and welcome to the first brand new episode of the Bromigos Podcast.
Yes, and okay, let's introduce ourselves first. Martin and Levi. And why did we want to do this? I think we wanted to do this podcast because we always enjoy talking to each other, exploring different topics, different subjects, and we wanted to put it on paper, or in this case, put it on video and audio, because we think we have some stuff that we really wanted to share with everyone, and that's why we're gonna make this topic or make this podcast. Really,
We're both young guys, 25, and
Yes.
we've been discussing so many stuff, so many shit the last few years that we just wanted to start a podcast and bring up, controversial topics that they don't talk about in your family or in school, because we don't like to be political correct. So that's why we're doing this.
Yeah, I don't think these are topics that you want to talk about with your family.
Nope.
I wouldn't. I wouldn't.
That would be pretty awkward.
Yeah, especially this first one, because it's about pornography and all its effects.
Pornography. How did we come up actually with this topic? What's the backstory?
I think it started. I think we met 3 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
I don't even know how we got into this topic, but I know for a fact that we both were into the nofap movement at the time, which is, for the people that don't know it, I think most of you guys do know it. But nofap stands for not fapping. It's no masturbation and no pornography, and it's a way to detox a bit from the pornography that's been around for ages, and to maybe try and find yourself again.
Yeah, we were both pretty addicted to pornography back in the day, just like 99% of all guys, and some girls out there too. And I think at a certain age, we both were like, okay, maybe we have a problem. Maybe this is not that healthy. And I think after we took that step, we had a really different approach to pornography and the way we thought about it. So I think that's why, we have a pretty unique view about it.
Yeah, I guess so. Because, like you said too, I think most men, they are very experienced in the pornography world.
Yes.
Very, very much experienced. I think, when did it start for you?
I don't know. I was I think age 12 or 13, and you had this kind of Google page at your computer where you can send, or you could visit different types of categories, and there was always this 18 plus category with this bold red text,
And it was exciting.
and I was also intrigued by it. Why is it 18 plus? Why cannot why can't I watch it yet? And I just started with the vanilla stuff, seeing girls undress, and I think after that it took off, and also in high school, if you're in the first or second grade, everyone's talking about it, letting each other show pictures and videos, and it becomes a hype eventually.
Yeah, for me too. I think it was first grade of high school. I was about 11, I think. And then, this is a funny story, because me and 3 friends of mine, we were in a friend group of 4 guys. We were having, I think we called in sick. We just went home and we just called in sick for each other. Just I can't go to school anymore. Then we just played games, and then we found the 18 plus section, and we kind of dared each other to watch it, which is a very weird experience, of course.
Yes,
because you're with 4 dudes, and you're all 11, and you're all very young, and it's the first time. And then we went to watch some porn, and that was really the first time that I think we all got into it.
Yeah, and it's also funny because it's so I don't know, socially accepted that around that age, when you start puberty, everyone's watching pornography, and it's almost being stimulated.
Yeah.
But the fact that we're having a podcast and a conversation about this is that I think for most humans, guys, but also girls, but not only pornography, but also the whole sex industry with OnlyFans, TikTok, Instagram, and all the influence that it has on people, their self-image and social media, is that it has become a pretty problematic thing. So I think it's interesting to first of all ask you, Levi, how you see that porn almost epidemic evolving into a monster in society right now.
Well, I think a very topical answer would be last year with the pandemic and with the first lockdowns. I remember that Pornhub had this deal.
Yep.
The first month of Pornhub Premium would be free of charge, in the whole world, which a lot of people took use of that, made use of that, and just went on the Pornhub and just even more porn, because everyone had all the time in the world. We didn't go out anymore. We didn't like hang
Nope.
out with friends anymore. We had all the time in the world just in our own apartments and, well, you know, all by ourselves. And, well, if you get bored, you maybe just do something.
You just
about
open
it.
that incognito browser and you're going to have fun.
Yeah. And it's a party.
Well,
It's a very lonely party, but it's a party.
I think that's a good like first topic to discuss. I think when you go back to the roots and the basics of pornography, it's just to like, you know, saturate this hunger towards like sex and also seeing like intimate content. But I think at a certain point you have this like clear boundary of watching it like pure for your own good, or like when it becomes problematic, you're gonna watch it like 3 times a day, 7 days a week, you know, 365. That's going to be not that healthy for you.
Yeah, because I'm wondering, and we talked about it before, like, do you think all porn is bad, or is it also like some positive side of it, a side to it? Like, for example, exploring your own sexuality and stuff
Yeah,
like
I
that.
mean, we're not here to tell people porn is bad, because porn is obviously good. And just like you say, I think it plays a huge role in discovering your own sexuality. And, you know, of course, it's such a broad topic, like sex in general. So it's really good to get to know some more information before you go out into the real world, as we call it. But what I think the biggest problem is that you start with like pretty vanilla images and videos. And, you know, I mean, we also...
You kind of dive in, and then
you go down the rabbit hole, and like we talk to so many people out there on like forums and stuff, and they all told kind of the same story. They started watching porn and masturbating just in a healthy, normal way. And then, you know, after some years pass, they cannot really get the same kind of enjoyment and the same dopamine rush from a normal video or picture. So they start going to more extreme stuff. And then it kind of becomes like this problematic habit, because the stuff that you like watch to get off on, it's not really considered normal anymore. And I think that's where the biggest problem starts.
Yeah, so it starts to get like, if the vanilla stuff starts to get boring, you start getting desensitized to it, then you dive into a little bit more extreme stuff, and it happens like time and time again, you mean?
Yeah.
And then
That's
you go deeper.
the biggest part, like the, how do you pronounce that again? The desensitization.
Yeah.
Which is basically like your brain, of course, creates dopamine, like this reward chemical, when you watch porn or when you drink alcohol or take drugs. And I think at a certain moment you get this dopamine spike from porn, and then it becomes boring. So you go deeper and deeper to get this dopamine spike. But then the problem is what I also experienced, and I think you also had that, when you become like almost a problematic porn user or masturbator, then you kind of like rid your body of all the dopamine. So you completely empty your whole dopamine pool.
Yeah.
And then you become desensitized, which basically just means that you're like this numb zombie walking around. You don't have a sparkle in your eyes anymore. You cannot look people into the eyes. You don't have a firm handshake anymore, because you just feel really, just fucked up and insecure about the stuff that you're watching.
Yeah, because just your brain is breaking down and it's not working anymore.
Yeah.
Like just like an addiction.
Yeah.
Addiction to pills or addiction to cocaine.
Yeah.
And is it really good?
But I think that's not much people, not a lot of people talk about it, but I think it's for a lot of people like a problem, that if they really just objectively like look at their porn usage and how much they watch it and what they watch, I think if there would be like a button or a pill that you can press or take to get, you know, rid of it, I think most people would do that.
Yeah, just to get rid of it all.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it's a weird thing to me too, because it's so normalized when you're young. Well, it's not talked about with like family and stuff, but I think among friends, especially for guys, because also there's a huge topic for girls, I think, in porn usage for girls, but we're two guys, mainly talking about guys in this instance. But it was so normalized. Like, I watched it with my friends for one of the first times ever, and it's how do you say it? Because it's 18 plus, it feels like a secret.
It's like this naughty thing that you're doing.
Like you're not allowed to do it. It's like, oh my God, I'm 11. It's 18 plus. Oh my God, that's 7 years. I'm not allowed to do this at all. It's like you say, naughty and exciting because of that. Plus, you have all your hormones coming up.
Yeah, so
you
it's
feel
like
oh yeah, and this feels good, but you're still young, so you have no idea what it does to you.
No, and I think also the natural part of it kind of goes away. Like something that I experienced myself also, and a lot of people is, when you're behind your computer, you're watching all this porn, and you're like, oh, this and that, and sex, blah, blah, blah. But then in real life, if you approach a girl or you talk to a group of girls, you feel really insecure, and you just don't know like what to say. Because
you did have the feeling of like maybe masturbating, maybe coming and everything like that, but you have never experienced how to get there.
No, you don't have the real life part. So, it's just like you open your browser, you get off, and 10 minutes later you're done. But in real life, if you really want to seduce a girl or date a girl, have sex with a girl, it's a way different story. And there's so much more to it than just sex. It's like the physical attraction, being confident, like handling everything. And I think...
just creating the vibe together and then just going with the flow. Yeah.
But I think, next to pornography itself, like you can see that in society right now, the society is being almost over-sexualized. Like everything from modeling to shopping to Instagram to TikTok, YouTube, but also like music and music videos. I don't know how you look about it, but it's
I think a bit the same way. Obviously I like music videos, but maybe that's one part of it. Sex sells, we all know that, in music videos, in movies too, in advertisements, in basically everything. But we did like maybe exaggerate a bit. Also, if you look at like fitness magazines and stuff, like both for men and women, like there's all these perfect bodies and everyone wants to be perfect. Everyone wants to be an influencer or a YouTuber nowadays and just get to that level, which is sometimes not attainable at all.
No, I think that's the biggest part. Like sex sells, so of course you're gonna sexualize like your marketing and your commercials and stuff. But the main problem is that like, for example, if you watch porn a lot, I think as men, but also as women, you will, consciously or subconsciously really develop some insecurities because, like, the guys you see in porn movies always have the biggest dicks, and the chicks always have the best tits, the best asses. Like, it's almost like fake, They have, like, this genetic thing that you don't have, and that makes you insecure. And also, if you look at the sports magazines and Instagram models, for example, or the OnlyFans models, they are all portraying like this fake image that sex should be, this and that, and you should look like this. But, 99% of the world population doesn't look like that. And even the people that, in an Instagram photo, for example, look like a 10 out of 10, they only look like that maybe 1% of the time,
Yeah.
And that's the biggest thing.
And there's also, of course, Photoshop and everything.
Yes.
For the models and stuff. For all the photos to touch it up a bit. I think even video editing exists as well. Yeah. But also, like, coming back to the porn stuff, we're watching someone else fuck. It's weird.
Yeah, it's how do you call it? Cuckold or something?
Yeah, a bit like that. Yeah.
It's like it's so weird because, for example, let's say you're a virgin and you've been watching porn for 8 years. You see people fuck, you jerk off. Then you are programming your subconscious brain that you are not worthy of like having sex with a girl or a guy, whatever your preference is. But you are,
in a way, you're only worthy of watching.
Yeah, you are watching it as like an observer, and you're just jerking off. I mean, like a few thousand years ago, when we are like Homo sapiens, if like Jackie and Anna, for example, were going down on each other 69 all the way, I've never seen a Homo sapien go into like. What's it called, like tall grass or something, or hide in a bush, jerk off while they have sex. Is like the most badass thing you can do. It's like really low self-esteem, and I think that's really what drains your self-image and self-esteem in the long run. So that's why I think we both like decided to quit pornography. It's just not healthy for you anymore.
Yeah, true. Well, I'm not really into the alpha beta terminology, but it's like you say, if you do that, you're basically watching and you're watching and you're watching. You're watching so many people have sex, but you don't have sex, which I think somewhere your mind must go like, dude, what the fuck's happening? Why are you doing this?
Yeah, why are we doing this? Why are you not having sex with a girl? Why are you watching two people? It's like a really passive thing.
Yeah, and you know how our minds are. We are trying to search for conclusions, for answers. So then the answer would be, why are you not having sex with them and only watching them? Well, it's not because you're that
happy. How did you feel about it? For example, when you weren't like sexually active or dating, but you watched a lot of other people have sex online and jerking off to that. How, for example, did it make you feel when you were out clubbing or in a party and you see like this confident guy like, for example, making out with a girl because he had like the balls and self-esteem to do it and you didn't. But how does it feel to actually see that, knowing like deep down inside, like, fuck, man, I could have been that guy, but I'm just way too insecure and I'm watching too much porn.
Yeah, well, I have two kinds of experience in that, I think. One was like way back when I did watch a lot of porn, but I had no experience. Also, I've had the well, it's not like two instances, but the experience that I did know how to do it.
Yep.
Like how to flirt and how to like connect to someone, but still watched a lot of porn. And so then I got desensitized and it didn't happen anyway. In both ways, it was like, I don't know, it felt shit.
Yeah.
It felt like I knew, especially the latter one, like I knew how to do it, but I just didn't feel a drive. And when I saw someone else doing that and being able to do, like, pull it off, like being able to get into the right frame of mind, right, into the right vibe, and connect with someone like that, I was just like, I can do that, but I can't right now. And why can't I at the moment?
Because
what is happening?
Yeah, what also I think just like came into my mind, like in our brain, we humans have this sex drive. So if we feel certain emotions or we see certain images of like boobs, asses or whatever, or girls, we become sexually, how do you say that, active. Like our body gets into this sex mode.
It's just aroused.
This aroused state. You become horny, right? But what I, for example, in myself, really noticed that once I was always like watching porn and masturbating, but because I only was sexually active on my own in front of like my laptop or my mobile phone, like you are also programming your brain to become sexually active if you see two people have sex like on your screen. So for example, if I would open up a porn tab, I could just finish in a few minutes and I would become like sexually aroused real easy. But when I was in real life, for example, making out with a girl or at a party chatting with like a hot girl, I wouldn't feel sexually aroused. And I was first of all like, what the fuck is wrong with me? But it's because you are just tricking your brain into, you know, you are rewiring your brain in such a manner that you only get aroused by watching porn. And I think that was my biggest like eye-opening thing. And that's when I decided to, you know, quit pornography for once and for all.
I get it, because you only get aroused by maybe the actual sex, but everything before that, like leading up to it, or just not only sex, but just relational aspects, it didn't like entice you anymore. It was like,
And that's the desensitization where we talk about like your brain is like, it's just being rid of all the life force and dopamine. And the only way to, you know, feel it's like a drug addiction, right? If you're addicted to cocaine, you don't take cocaine anymore. You feel empty. And once you take another hit, then you feel good again. But what was, Levi, for you the moment where you were like, okay, I have a problem, or not like a, you know, I don't want to paint us as being two problematic porn users, but
10 times a day, people. No.
No, but what was for you like?
I mean, 10 times in the morning. No.
Otherwise, you cannot go out of your bed, right?
Yes.
Yeah. No, but where I'm interested in, like, Levi, what was the moment in your life where you were like, okay, maybe this habit that I've been pulling off every day for at least like 8 years isn't that healthy? Like, what was for you the day where you were like, okay, maybe I should quit this, I have a problem?
I don't know. I don't remember exactly when. It was, I think, 5 or 6 years ago. What was I think 5 years ago or something, that I was like, okay, I'm missing some sex drive. And I did do the pornography because it was just like we've been maybe taught to do it. It was normalized, so it was like, that's just how we do it. That's just men. But I didn't have the sex drive that I wanted, and I was like, is there something wrong with me? Is there something wrong with me? Like my hormones or stuff? They turned out to be all right. So I was like, okay, what else is it? Am I depressed? Or like sometimes, but
you know, you can get easily aroused if you watch a porn video. So it's not your hormones, it's maybe between your ears or something.
Yeah, and it felt like that. And I was like, okay, what's happening? And then I started looking. I don't even know what I searched, but eventually I found like the no porn and the nofap communities. And I started reading, and I think you did as well, like finding all these people with similar problems. And
it was really relieving. Like for me, I know it as if it was yesterday. I think I was around 18 or 19 years old, like 5 years ago or 6 years. And it's a long story, but basically I was just hanging out with this girl that I was like chatting with for a while, and she was like, in my eyes, like this 10 out of 10 girl. Like I was just simping so hard for her. You know? I was almost in love with her, even though it was the first time we ever like met in real life. And I remember like we both had some drinks, so we were like getting a bit tipsy, and we were like kissing and making out in bed. And, you know, then we were like going to initiate a bit of the sexy stuff. And, you know, she just dropped her pants. I started doing some hand work, but I just couldn't get aroused. And
did you get bored, or was it like?
No, it was like I was. First of all, it was my first sexual experience ever, right? So I was a bit nervous, but
oh yeah, sure.
It was like I've in my mind I've been waiting so long for it, and then it happened, and the only thing that I could notice is I wasn't aroused. I was like, my heart was racing really fast, and I was extremely cold. Like I was just numb. It was like all my emotions were off, my hormones were down. I couldn't get my dick hard. Like nothing happened.
Oh yeah.
Like I was.
But do you think that was important, or just also like being very nervous?
I think
my first time I had trouble as well.
That plays a big part, but the main thing was normally online, if I would see like boobs or ass, I would get hard instantly.
Yeah.
And now there's even this dream girl laying down, you know.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't want to sound like a sexist, but she was really also into me. So she wanted me to like sexually engage her, you know, in a way.
Yeah.
But I just couldn't get aroused. Like nothing happened, and it was just, and I was really in my head thinking at that moment, like, what the fuck is wrong with me? I mean, this, you know, people would cut their arm off to be in this position, my age, and like nothing happened. And I was like, fuck, I hate my life, and I was so embarrassed. And I remember she left like the house, and I was in the train back to home, and I started Googling like
Google what happened.
No, but I started Googling like erectile dysfunction and things like that. Like I was Googling something like I can't get aroused in real life, porn addiction. And instantly there was this nofap and no porn websites and these forums on Reddit. And like I was reading that stuff and I was like, oh fuck. Luckily I'm not the only one. Like so many people had the same issue. And I think that's where I was like, I need to make some changes here because this shouldn't happen again. Yes, that was it.
I think it's also because it's the first time. I remember my first time. I was so nervous. I was also nervous about like premature ejaculation. I was so nervous that I would be like, I would go in and I would go out immediately. Like I would be done. It didn't happen, so that was nice.
Great.
But I had a hard time too.
Yeah.
Well, not a hard time, a semi-hard time.
Yeah, you had a semi-hard time.
Oh. But I think it was a little after that, but I found it as well. And I was just like, okay, there's more people like me, like us, experiencing difficulties. And we also, I think last time we talked about a study, we did a trial recording like last month. We talked about a study that showed that among teens even, you know, teens are the people with the highest hormone levels possible, I think. It's your teenage years. And even with the teens, it was like if they watched pornography or something like that once a week, they saw a drop in sexual performance, like in sex drive and sexual well-being. And that's only once a week.
Yeah, it's
imagine doing it
so
twice
weird
a day.
How that works. For example, like to get a bit deeper into like the nofap thing. What's the science behind it is your brain doesn't know the difference between actually having sex or just watching a porn movie on your screen. So if you like masturbate and get off and watch porn, then your brain has no incentive to actually approach girls or work on yourself or, you know, become sexually active in real life because you are already saturating yourself.
Yeah.
And what like the core idea of nofap is that by cutting out pornography and cutting out masturbation, you are suppressing like this natural drive. And because of that, your brain and your body start working together to like heighten and increase your probabilities of, you know, getting laid in real life because you cut out masturbation and pornography, so that's not an option anymore. So your body starts like developing itself so that you become like more suitable to have sex in real life. So your confidence is like heightened. You have higher energy levels. You have like this sparkle in your eyes, lower voice, more testosterone, like all these kinds of things.
Yeah, but wait, so you're saying that it's not healthy to look at like 20 women a day?
Well, that's healthy. Whoa, my CD is doing something funny. Okay.
I mean, like,
It's healthy
I
if
watch
it's in real
porn. I
life.
look at 20 women a day. That's not healthy. I thought it was.
Well, I think the biggest thing is like, dopamine is the biggest molecule in our brain, and it pretty much, how do you say that? It influences our motivation and our incentives to do something. And, if you open up a porn tab and you start browsing for a few minutes, you have in those 5 minutes seen more naked bodies than our ancestors did in their whole life combined.
Yeah, probably.
And that's why your sex drive and your confidence goes away. But if you don't have access to that kind of content anymore, then your body creates like this natural hunger, and I think that's where the fun starts, where you really start working on yourself and stuff. Yeah.
I agree. I so agree. I mean, and I've had ups and downs as well with the porn. And there's also different kinds of porn that we could get into, like a video or just audio or just stories and everything.
Yeah.
There's different degrees of it. I think the videos are the worst in that way.
Yeah, because it's like the most vivid, and it like stimulates almost all of your senses, right?
Yeah.
You have sound, you have image, you have like everything.
Yeah,
and if you
except
only
no taste and no smell.
no taste and no real women.
Yeah.
But if you, for example, masturbate and you fantasize or you read a story, it's a way different thing. It's like if you're watching a movie, it's entertaining, for example, in the cinema. But if you're reading a book or you're fantasizing about something, you have a way different like visual stimulation in your brain, and it's way more creative and way more intense.
It's in a way more stimulating by being less stimulating.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you create your own world.
Yeah,
your own
because let's say
fantasy.
you're in love with someone and you haven't seen them naked, and then you're thinking of her. It is a way different sensation than when you're just watching online stuff.
Yeah, true.
Yeah. So that brings us actually, I think, to the next topic, which is dating and porn. How they influence each other, but how they are pretty much each other's counterpart. And since you are the Dr. Love of us two, I think I would give this one to you first of all.
I mean, that's a title, man. I don't know how to live up to the expectations. No, dating and pornography. I don't know if people watching this in the future may have had the same experience, but like we said just now too, like the more porn you watch, the more desensitized you are. So the less drive I feel to get out there and to go out in the world and to find someone to connect with. And also, if I do connect with someone, well, chances are harder because I'm more desensitized. But let's say I'm in a relationship and I start watching porn, I will also get more desensitized. And so that's going to affect my relationship, not only on the sexual level, but also just on a personal level, like interpersonal, just the connection you have, the kinds of conversations that you have, the depth of the conversations. Also,
it's all different.
Just to finish, it misses a lot of love and care as well in that regard. Just a small human touch, I think. If I
it's
had to give it a name.
I think it's a two-way edge. Like, first of all, when you're watching porn, it's like the way they make love in those videos, that's not the real world. That's like me and my mom, for example, we never talked about pornography or sex.
I thought that was the way to go when I was like 12.
Yeah.
It's the only thing I saw.
But no, like the only advice regarding like pornography that my parents ever gave me was they said, just beware, Martin, it's not real life, and that's not how it works in real life.
And you were like, but then show me real life.
But, those examples weren't there. No, but I think if you watch a lot of pornography and then no matter if you quit pornography, yes or no, but if you start like having sex in real life, I think it would be, depending on the person and your history, of course, but I think it would be a pretty difficult job to really make that transition from like this hardcore like tunnel vision sex in porn and like this more loving and caring like sex, like this almost this tantric way of like really being intimate with your loved one. I think that's a whole different kind of thing.
It's basically that that in this way, like the porn is really fast. It's like fast food. It's really quick. It's a quick fix. You pull down your pants, you search, you look up a video, and then you're done. Basically, it can take like 10 minutes. Well, maybe it's 30 minutes finding the right video.
No, you start looking. First, it's 1 hour for the perfect video. Then it's 5 minutes masturbating. And then after you're done, you're looking at this movie like, what the fuck did I just watch? Can I get an amen? Can I get an amen? Okay, rest in peace for all our brothers still looking at their screen right now thinking, oh, fuck, what did I do again?
Yeah, just close the tabs, guys.
Yes.
Close them all.
Also your incognito tabs.
Yes.
No, but I think I think also,
Fair
like,
point.
let's say you rid yourself of all, like, erotic material. So let's say you rarely masturbate anymore, like once a week or once every 2 weeks. But the most important thing is if you deprive yourself of erotic content online, so no more porn, no more Instagram models, nothing, and you have like a partner that you're sexually active with or like starting to get sexually active with, I think you would go like emotionally and physically, like you are way more engaged with her and you're going way deeper in terms of like conversations and stuff, because that's your only source of like sexual stimulus and like also emotional and spiritual satisfaction. So I think you would develop a way more broad interest of your partner and really get to know her on like every inch of her mind and body. I think it's a whole different story.
Just because you have more attention to detail, more
you have
attention
full focus. There's no escape button to use to watch a porn movie if you're for example, let's say your wife is not in the mood or you're having an argue. If there's no escape button, no safety net, no plan B, then you're going to put your full focus on getting her in that optimal state to be able to communicate with her, to love her and get love back. I think, that's it.
Yeah. Do you think this is also like a general critique on our modern day society? Like everything's fast food, social media, pornography, like news too.
It's
politics,
all, yes,
everything's
I think
fast food nowadays.
I think what you're saying right now is like a big thing. Like in society, everything, no matter if you are shopping items or watching porn or anything, it's instant gratification. So for example, you have 6-pack creams, even though they don't work. You have like teeth whitening kits, you have lip fillers and boob jobs. So basically, if you have a problem, instead of doing it the right way, like developing yourself, solving problems, you can, with like one mouse click, you can pretty much get away from your problems.
Just click your problems away.
Click your problems away.
Click it away.
Shut up and take my money.
Yes,
and
please.
I think that's one of the biggest issues you see, for example, at millennials or people between age, 16 and 30 or 40.
Yeah.
Like back in the day, when you had a relationship, and then assuming things were pretty right most of the time, you also made a commitment to invest energy, time, and everything into your partner.
Yeah.
But now, what I, for example, see with a lot of couples that have like really fragile relationships that are like 6 months old or 1 year old, they argue or they're like sexually or mentally or emotionally frustrated. And then your girl goes away because she's angry, she's going home, and you open your Tinder app, you literally swipe for 30 minutes and you have like 100 people to have sex with in a radius of 15 kilometers. I think that's the biggest issue, that like the opposite of going the hard way and solving relationship problems. So like the escape is so easily accessible that it destroys people's incentive to work hard.
Yeah. And okay, there is also upsides to that. Like if you really need to escape a relationship, you at least know that there's options. Or if you at least know that there's always a way out. Maybe more so than in the past, like a few generations ago. But with all the options and all the choices available comes like what do you call it? Choice paralysis. Like you don't know what to choose anymore, and you also don't know what to commit to anymore.
It's like almost like the golden nugget syndrome. Like you have so many, you have an abundance of partners or mates to have sex with. So it becomes like increasingly more difficult to actually choose a good partner. But I think if you would just as an experiment, let's say you have a normal average couple with a normal average sex life and a normal average like emotional and physical bond. And let's just assume that the man watches sex and masturbates like on average 2-3 times a week, or he watches porn.
Yeah.
If you would cut those two parts out of his life so that all his focus for any kind of spiritual, emotional, or erotical satisfaction would come from his one and only partner, it would change the way he would, I think, behave, speak, everything. I think that relationship would be insanely good.
Yeah, I think so too. Yeah. And And okay, if you watch it together.
Yeah, or just experiment. It's not like
you're a couple, you do the sex stuff together, and don't do it like privately, because I think that's also a thing. Like when you watch porn, it's not like you're watching it with your friends, or whatever, with your girlfriends or whatever. No, you watch it privately in your little room, away from the world, with the Kleenex and with maybe the lube or whatever the fuck you want to do.
Yeah.
I've heard of banana peels being used. I don't know why.
Well, I'm not a vegan, so I'm gonna just use my T-bone steak. But
yeah, okay, that's fine.
No, but people don't watch it together. I mean,
shameful.
I knew like a couple. Those guys were like, or it was a girl and a guy, but those two amazing people, they were like insanely developed sexually, and like they just. Yeah, they were like fully developed on that way, like what they like. With porn, they hadn't done everything they could have, thought of. And they were sometimes also like watching pornography together and then, being like freaky and sexy while watching it. But there was like this mutual agreement that they both find it a good idea.
It was still together.
Yeah, they were together. Yeah. But I think the biggest part is that, for example, as a guy or girl, you kind of hide it. And instead of like sexually, experiment with things, you're gonna do it like in private when your girl's not home.
Yeah,
I think that's not good.
No, and we hide it. It's shameful.
But why is it shameful?
For me, why it was shameful was because I knew I could do better, maybe, or maybe no, I didn't. It's not like I knew I could do better. I felt like coming short. Like having shortcomings, like I'm not able to do it.
I think what illustrated it the best for you, but also for me especially, is the thing that I found that I was the most ashamed of back when I masturbated a lot and watched porn. Is, for example, in my life I had thousands of like orgasms and climaxes. I've watched thousands of beautiful ladies undress. I had tons of testosterone cruising to my body. And
cruising to the balls.
Like the problem was 999 of those climaxes out of 1,000 were not legitimately manifested and were not legitimately acquired. So they were all artificial, Yeah. And I think that's the biggest thing. Like sex, the reason why it feels so good is because back in the day it was extremely hard to find a partner. You need to be romantic. You need to be sexy, confident. You need to be clever. You need to have some sense of humor and communication skills. So that's why it feels so good, because it's in our brain the highest reward. But the point was, I had so many sexual climaxes, and I've watched so many beautiful women, but 99.9% of all those occasions were artificially made, and I didn't do it myself, and that's why I didn't feel proud of it, and I felt ashamed, because just like you said, it was not your work. You just cheated your way into it.
Yeah. But it's also like for your, like how I felt is, and maybe that's also a bit perfectionistic. I'm very well aware of that. But like if I was really happy with myself, like in season is how I like to call it. Like it's Levi season or it's Martijn season. It's like you feel really good in your own skin. You're the shit in a way. And, you just feel high on life and you feel on top of the world. And if you would feel like that, why do you need to go on the computer and go to your private room and do it that way? If you can also go out and like find someone that really matches you, that really fits you, and you two just vibe with each other, and you like have and make great moments.
Yeah. So you're saying that it's actually like a negative self-fulfilling prophecy, like the same as those experiments with rats, that if you have an isolated rat, he takes cocaine water. If they're together in the rat park, none of them, or at least 99% of them, don't take cocaine water. Yeah. But what you're saying is actually extremely intelligent and extremely true, because if I, most of the time during summer, I feel like a 10 out of 10, right? I don't have fat on my stomach. I feel good. Yeah. I approach new people. I'm confident in who I am. And then I notice that women have interest in me, and that there's a lot of like attraction, a sexual attraction.
Yeah,
but if it's
just because you feel really good in your own skin and you're happy with who you are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And if you are happy with who you are, and if you're getting that attraction, why should you go to your basement and jerk off? It's like you are.
Exactly.
It's like saying to your brain, like, okay,
but I love my basement.
No, but but it's like saying to your brain and your body that you're extremely happy like in a sober state and then snorting cocaine. It's like, why the fuck would you do that? Because you're just saying you're happy. And then your brain is going to think like, oh, maybe I'm not happy because I'm artificially stimulating myself.
Yeah. And there's also a difference, like, if you're really happy snorting cocaine at a party, okay.
Yeah, it's just a good add-on.
If you're really happy and you go start snorting cocaine all by yourself, that's like, why? Why are you doing that? Like it's a sharing experience, that stuff. And the same with like masturbating and pornography, but especially masturbating. It's a sharing experience. Like, do that with someone you like. I think it really is like it falls underneath sharing experiences. Something you don't want to do alone, but you want to do it with someone. So yeah,
it should not be an individual thing, because like everything that you don't do, everything that you keep to yourself, that you keep private, you have a reason to keep that private. So you should, like, for everyone that's listening and watching, like, you shouldn't just listen to this podcast and then decide like, okay, I'm never gonna masturbate again, or I'm gonna be a celibate, or I'm gonna
because
cut
we're
out
not
porn.
saying that at all.
No, but what you should do is, like, without any bullshit excuses, you should just like rationally just analyze yourself, like, how many percent of the times am I really doing it for pleasure, and how many percent of the times am I doing it like to escape? And for example, also, if you are watching porn and masturbating, but you have a good social life, a good sex life, or a healthy relationship, okay, no problem. But just, really take a look at the numbers. Like, how many percent of the times are you having trouble approaching a girl, or talking to a hot girl, or seducing a girl? Like, if those numbers are not where you want them to be, then this could be a first good step.
Yeah, and for me to add on that is like, okay, I'm not always about approaching or seducing, whatever, but I feel that for me, one of the best, how do you say that, feedbacks? I think feedbacks, or we have another word in Dutch, is like, do I feel in season? Do I feel happy with myself? Can I honestly say that I feel good?
Oh yeah,
at this moment, like
introspection.
Yeah. And if I can honestly answer the question with a full yes, and not just a but like, yes, I feel amazing. Like, am I a 10 out of 10? Right? Do I feel like a 10? Yes. Okay, then it's true. That for me is a really helpful feedback to know if I'm actually at the point where I want to be. Like, do I feel happy with myself? And I just feel every time again, like throughout the years, every time again when I get there, I meet people, like, not only romantically, but also like on friendly levels, like that I really connect with.
Yeah,
and that I really like. Yeah, it's the best time to meet new people, because you feel good about yourself and you meet
feel
people
like a 10 out of 10. So there's like this famous saying that we also talked about: manage your garden first, then the butterflies will come.
Yeah.
And I think
exactly.
For example, I've seen you a lot of times where you were feeling like 10 out of 10. And it's a whole different you, because then you are, if you are good inside, then the outside will be there, because
you've also seen me in the winter. Yes.
It's like if you have an equation that is correct and right, then the good answer will always come, and it will always be the same. But if you are like not a 10 out of 10, then I think it's easier for people to go down that drain. You can almost, in society, like, I don't know if you have ever done that, but like, if you're in a really crowded city, you can almost like feel people's energy, or like guess, you don't have to be like a psychic for it, but you can guess if people do like pornography binges, yes or no. You can see like the almost the absence of the life force in their eyes.
Yeah, it's sometimes like a dark feeling, and not to get all too like spiritual woo-ha whatever, but you get a feeling.
Mumbo jumbo.
Yeah, but we're humans. We're humans. We're very social animals, social creatures. Yeah. You feel that stuff, and you can feel, and maybe you don't know exactly what's going on with someone, but you can feel like if there's a dark energy or like a stressful energy, and sometimes you can just how do you say it? Like put the pieces together for someone. Yeah, like when they're not happy, they exhibit like certain kinds of behavior, like depressed or whatever. No sparkle in the eyes.
It's not, no fap and no porn, like cutting those two things out. It's not like a key to success, but it's a good starting point. And what we do see, especially in those forums and out of own experiences, I think you also, once you cut that out, not even entirely, but once you like reduce it a lot, then you start feeling way better. And if you feel way better, then it's basically your brain rewarding you for taking a good action. Yeah. That's what happiness is. So, I mean, if you start, for example, if you cut out pornography and you start feeling really well, more confident, then it's actually you just found the answer. Then your brain and body are basically telling you like, hey, good job on quitting. Yeah.
So in that way, it's just very good to like try it.
Yeah.
Just like, what would you say, a month or 3 months?
Well,
90 days?
NoFap says that the time is 90 days and there are like different modes. But what I would like, first of all, I would advise everyone to not go cold turkey, but like just stop watching porn and Google images and like Instagram models. You can still masturbate because your body has this natural tendency of, wanting sex and wanting an orgasm. So, masturbation is completely healthy if you are in control. Yeah. If you start doing it 5 times a day, it's not healthy. But like if you cut out porn, there will also already be a lot of improvement. And if you really want to go cold turkey, you can quit porn and masturbating. But the point is, if you are not sexually active in real life and you cut those things two out, what can happen is a flat line. I mean, I guess you also had one in your life. Yeah. It's like your brain. It's like so.
What is a flat line?
A flat line is basically the absence of energy, libido, energy, life force, motivation, discipline, etc. And it's caused by like sexual deprivation, how you call it. It's your only source of like sex and pleasure was ejaculation, like an orgasm, and sexual images. If you cut those things out, your body goes kind of numb because there's no it's like
a small depression in that way, right?
Yeah, it's like depression. Like your hormone levels drop. You have zero stimulus anymore, zero stimulation, and because of that, you go
like you used to be numb from like the masturbation, like especially if you do it like 5 times a day. Yeah, then you cut it out, and then you're finally in touch with the real world. I guess.
Yeah, right? But then you also become flat.
And then you feel like, oh my God, the real world right now is shit. I already knew, but I numbed myself with the hand and everything that goes with it. Well, yeah. And now it's very real, and it's very you just really realize like, oh my God, there's a lot that I don't like at the moment.
I think also just go flat. If you do something that is really strong, like drugs or porn and masturbating, you are also suppressing certain emotions. What you also see in that forum a lot is that once people they quit masturbating and quit porn, they start having like these thoughts and emotions coming up that they suppressed for years. So I think it's also a really interesting journey within yourself.
Yeah, so a lot can come up that you've just been repressing.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, but I think that's one of the last points we have, like the nofap community, right? Like
it's on Reddit. I think everyone here knows Reddit by now. It's like a huge forum, and they have like 2 subreddits. One is called No Porn, so people cut out porn, and one is NoFap, which is basically cutting out fapping, so masturbation and porn.
Yeah, and that's more of the hard mode. So no masturbation, no pornography. A lot of the times also no edging. Yeah, like for guys, you know what edging is? It's that you like masturbate but you don't come. Don't do it. It will lead to you.
Yeah, or like not watching porn, but watching like Instagram models or like lingerie models and stuff. But those communities, what you see a lot of times is they really start. I think you also had the same. Once you cut that out, you also start self-development more seriously. And
because you got all that time and energy.
Yeah, right. You got more energy. Yes,
and it's not even that much time. But if you do it twice a day, and especially when you're into it a lot, like we used to be back in the day, not together by the way, but some things that are meant to keep like private, but. What was I gonna say? Oh yeah, when you do it like twice a day, but you are like looking for videos like 30 minutes every time. Yeah. Or let's say 30 minutes. It can be less or more, of course, depending on how much time you have in your day. But let's say it's like 1 hour a day. And for the people that watch porn 5 times a day, it might be 2 hours or 3 hours a day that you're wasting on that stuff.
It's a lot of hours.
It's a lot of time.
If you look at a year, like for example, I would, watch porn and search for a good video, and like with everything, it would take me like 30 minutes a day. Yeah. And, that's like 180 or 190 hours a year.
Yeah, but that's also like 1 hour a day. I'm just doing the quick math. It's like 2 weeks a year.
Yeah, 2 weeks a year.
Quick math.
And I think also the energy, it's not just the time that you save, but also the energy that you don't spend on porn and fapping. You can pick up a hobby or,
And also the feeling a bit like, I think most guys know it, like the how do you say it? Post-ejaculation shame, guilt.
Oh, yeah.
You know that when you're done, you feel like, oh my God,
you feel like shit.
Done? What am I even looking at?
You're judging yourself.
And you will never have that when you have like a real life experience with a partner. You will never be like,
no.
Well, maybe if you're very drunk and then you wake up and you're like, what the fuck did I do?
No, but that's like the same in nofap. Like there are, of course, some like extreme cases where people judge themselves so hard for orgasming that they like fuck their partner, they still feel bad. But let's just keep it to the healthy 99.9%.
Yeah.
I've never heard someone that like natural has sex with their partner and then like feels bad about themselves. Like it doesn't happen.
Yeah, usually no. And that's what I mean, except if it's like a drunken one night stand and you wake up and you're like, why did I do this? Why did I go with this person? I don't even like her. Or
yeah,
I
but
don't
that's
even
more
like
like
him.
a bit of shame, but it doesn't really have anything to do with like...
No, but still you're like, it doesn't matter, I had sex. If it happened consensually, of course. Yeah.
So yeah, interesting topics.
Yeah, I want to say one thing though, because if you are going to do it, like there's this one, I went to a festival once in the Netherlands, a Lowlands festival. I think it was the 2012 edition, and it was one morning, and you got the program for the whole day. It starts at about 11 in the morning with some yoga and some fitness and everything. It's very nice. It's a good festival. But there was this speaker. It was like a writer or something, a writer or a poet, and he had this short talk, like 15 minutes, about masturbation and about porn and everything around it. And his advice was just to like use your own fantasy. Like quit the porn,
only use your own fantasy.
Quit the videos and everything. Quit the porn. Just use your own fantasy, or maybe read something. Read some porn fiction or true stories. It's just very different.
Yeah.
And you get to like, even if it's already written down, maybe you should write some yourself. That's also a possibility. But even if it's a story that's already been written, like, you will like fill in the whole story with your own ideas and with your own experiences.
It's way stronger, yeah. And then you are actually tricking your brain into thinking you actually had sex with someone. But it creates like a more natural desire. I think, for example, it's more common in women, like the stereotype that if they masturbate, they like really think about a guy or read a book, or like they have a whole... We just have like this ejaculate and evacuate kind of mindset. Like you go to your room, you masturbate and you're out. But I think women has that... also because they're more emotional, but I think they have that skill way more developed that they can really with their mind influence their body and really
well, from the conversations I've had, that seems to be true. Exactly. Yeah, really.
I think that's way healthier also to do it like that.
Yeah, because you're just really there. Like, okay, you can be done in 3 minutes or maybe less. You can be done like, and I'm done. But then you don't... I think I even want to say you're disrespecting your own body. You're disrespecting your own mind, and you're disrespecting your whole person by just going for the quick fix. I mean, go with the flow, with the feeling, and feel it arise. And it might be a very cheesy thing to say, but like, be with the feeling. If you're horny, be with the feeling. It might take a bit longer, but it will be that much greater, and you will experience it fully. It's like mindful masturbation.
Yeah,
it's a weird thing,
but it's also described in a few books. Like the main reason why we have sex drives and why we get aroused when we see other women is because our brain, we need to
our brain goes
yeah, we need to procreate. We need to actually have sexual intercourse with women in order to create a next generation. Our brain also, we are not born with the sexual tendency to get aroused by watching computer screens. That's just something we trick our brain. So if you do the real thing with the visualization, I think that also like puts the finger or the pressure on a more natural part of your brain.
I wanted to say puts the lotion on the skin, but that's a different...
maybe for a different podcast we're going to talk about lotion a lot. Lotion creates emotion.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. No, but I think that's a nice one. Like, it's like mindful masturbation and just, is that a timer? Mindful masturbation and just really be there.
Yeah. It's also described in a book, No More Mr. Nice Guy, who also talks about like, nice guys with low self-esteem and no boundaries. And one of the things that they give you as like a call to action in that book is to have 2 periods of, like, one period is I think 30 days, no porn, no like erotic images, and no masturbation. Yeah. And then after the 30 days, when you like reset for a bit, then you need to continue the no porn and no erotic material. But what you can do, like at least or maximum of like 2 times a week, is mindful masturbation. It's actually in there. So that means like sitting down, you know, being naked, being with yourself, like really masturbating and really focusing on the emotion. What do you feel? What are your thoughts? Like, you know, really trying to connect that part of your body with your brain.
Yeah, like and go into the feeling. Feel it expand. Maybe play with the feeling. Like, can
really
you get it
like,
to
like where does it come from? What do I feel?
Also, can you get it to grow bigger or smaller?
I think
can
bigger,
you play with it and what is needed for you to like grow the feeling, like increase the feeling?
I think that's also
a really good one.
A huge part for people. For example, the problem that I had when I was 18, I was like cold and numb. Like, if you are watching porn, you are most of the time extremely into your head. You're just watching it. You're numb. You're just like yeah. But if you do that mindful masturbation, for example, I think you can get way more in touch with a feeling that hasn't been there for quite a few years. And then when you have sexual intercourse with an actual girl, or when you feel sexual attraction or whatever, you can identify that emotion because you felt it before. Like, hey, here it is again. You kind of. You become best friends with your own emotion. That's quite weird to say as a guy, but I think it would heal a lot of people, definitely.
Yeah, definitely. And I think this is almost, we're at the full hour mark already, I think. That went fast.
We discussed every topic we had to discuss.
Yeah. So maybe for the end, do you still do it a lot? Like maybe masturbation or porn? Or
porn I cut out completely.
Yeah.
What I do sometimes do is like just scrolling, look for an Instagram model or something like that.
Yeah.
Masturbation, I think once every 2 weeks maybe. But it's
that's less than I do. Yeah.
It's it depends. Like I do it purely out of pleasure, or when I feel like you just have to blow off some steam, you know.
Yeah.
But I just. It depends on my body, but I'm pretty stoic. Like if I don't masturbate and don't watch porn, my sex drive's not that high. But if I like, if I meet with a new girl or get to know another girl, then of course it's higher. But it depends. I just really do it with the flow. But I just know that because of the history, I just have to protect myself a bit. That I'm not gonna binge 5 times a day.
Yeah, you know? Exactly. Yeah. Well, for me, I do it a bit more, and not that much anymore. It's like maybe once, twice a week. But I like when I do it, I like to be mindful.
Yeah.
And maybe if I am indulging, it might be a story or something. But that's about it. But I like it that it's in your mind and that you can control what you think about and what you fantasize about. It can be everything and anything, but also because you don't watch because you don't watch porn anymore, you're not that desensitized anymore. It also gets a bit more vanilla in some ways.
Yeah, it's more soft,
especially more loving and caring.
Yeah. And I think also
like already getting excited from like a first kiss or something. Which if you watch porn, you skip that part.
You skip that. It's boring.
I mean, you go straight to the end. No?
Yeah. No, but that's true. Like also, I think it's not the frequency, but also like the way you do it. For example, if I like masturbate and I don't watch porn, but you just, just go with the flow, whatever picture or thought you have, then when you're finished, you actually feel relieved and good. Like you don't judge yourself for it. You don't blame yourself. Yeah. You just had like a fantastic one-on-one experience with yourself. Yeah. And if you watch porn and then you're done, you feel like this fucking like zombie, and you feel disgusted and you feel dirty.
Yeah, so I think a small correction to what I said earlier, like, okay, you can masturbate alone. Like, it's also a sharing experience, but you can also do it alone. But you do have to be very mindful of it. Because when you're very mindful of it, then it will actually feel good. Yeah. And then there's also no shame involved. Because you were happy.
I think that's a really good one. We just heard a sound from the laptop that the battery is almost done. Yes. I hope they don't delete the full recording.
No. That's going to be fine. But I think this was it for the first podcast.
Yeah, I think we discussed pretty much everything we want to discuss. Really fun how you always have like this setup, and then if you just go with the flow again, you come like You also add personal experiences and like different topics. That's really fun.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah,
So yeah, there's a lot more to come. I hope you guys liked it.
there's a lot more to come.
No.
No, there's less to come, more to come.
More to come. Yes.
Okay. Okay, guys, stay tuned for this podcast. If you wanna, help us out, you can like, subscribe, and just give a thumbs up or however that works on Spotify.
Yes, and let us know what you think of it.
Yeah. Okay.
And
guys,
also let
have
us
a good
know
one.
some new topics because we want to know what you guys are excited about.
Yes. If anyone has any new suggestions, you can send an email to bromigospodcast@gmail.com.
But it's a good one. Yeah.
And Bromigos is BROMIGOS, bromigospodcast@gmail.com. And thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Bye-bye.
See you guys.
Take care.